Have you ever sat quietly only to feel a strange tingling in your legs, like tiny pins or gentle sparks dancing under your skin? At first it might feel harmless. Maybe you shift your position and hope it fades. But when it keeps returning, or when it lingers longer than it used to, it can become hard to ignore. Many older adults describe this feeling as pins and needles, a kind of buzzing, tingling, or numb sensation that seems to come out of nowhere. And while it's often brushed off as a small annoyance, it may actually be your body's way of telling you something deeper, something important. You see, our nerves are constantly in conversation with our brain. And when something interrupts that connection, whether from pressure, inflammation, or underlying conditions, it can show up in surprising ways, especially in the legs and feet. This video is here to help you understand those signals gently, clearly, and without fear. We'll walk through what these sensations can mean, when to pay closer attention, and how to take thoughtful next steps towards safety and comfort. Because at this stage of life, your body deserves your full attention, not out of worry, but out of wisdom. And through the lens of senior wellness, we believe that listening to these small signals is an act of care, strength, and self-respect. If this message speaks to you, please consider liking, sharing, and subscribing. Your well-being is worth every step. Why pins and needles happen more often after 60. That strange tingling in your legs, the feeling of pins and needles, like a light buzzing or crawling under the skin, may seem small at first, but for many older adults it starts showing up more frequently with age. And while it's easy to overlook this sensation, it can be your body's gentle way of calling for attention. As we age, our nerves become more sensitive to pressure, irritation, and even subtle changes in circulation. These tingling feelings are usually caused by nerves that are compressed, irritated, or not receiving the proper blood flow. Think of it like a communication glitch between your legs and your brain, a signal that's delayed, scrambled, or too strong. One common reason this occurs after 60 is that the nervous system naturally becomes more vulnerable. Years of sitting, standing, bending, or even sleeping in awkward positions can add up. The cushioning in your spine may thin. Your posture may shift slightly, and nerves that once moved freely now have less space to function without pressure. Sometimes the cause is as simple as sitting too long in one position, like crossing your legs or resting awkwardly on the couch. This type of tingling usually goes away quickly once you move, but when pins and needles happen more often, last longer, or show up without an obvious reason, that's when it's worth a closer look. For people over 60, this can sometimes be linked to age-related changes in the spine, such as disc wear or spinal narrowing that puts pressure on nearby nerves. It can also be tied to circulatory changes, as blood flow slows or becomes less efficient. Certain areas, especially in the legs and feet, may not receive the oxygen and nutrients nerves need to stay healthy. In some cases, medical conditions like diabetes, vitamin B deficiencies, or nerve inflammation may also play a role in why tingling becomes more common with age. The important thing to remember is that your body is not trying to scare you, it's trying to tell you something. These sensations are messages, and while they're not always serious, they're almost always worth listening to. From a senior wellness perspective, noticing changes in sensation is part of honoring your body's wisdom. If these tingling episodes become frequent, intense, or interfere with your daily life, it's a good idea to speak with your doctor. A quick conversation could lead to peace of mind or helpful next steps like physical therapy, gentle exercise, or lifestyle changes to support nerve health. In the journey of senior living, every signal your body sends is worth your care and respect. And with thoughtful awareness and support, you can move forward not just with comfort, but with confidence. When tingling is harmless versus when it's a warning sign. We've all experienced it, that familiar tingle in the legs after sitting too long or crossing one leg over the other. It feels like a swarm of tiny pins and usually disappears once we shift our position. But what if that tingling starts happening more often or lingers longer than it used to? Understanding the difference between harmless tingling and signals that may need medical attention is key, especially after the age of 60. Let's start with what's considered normal. Occasional tingling that quickly goes away is usually caused by temporary pressure on a nerve. For example, sitting on a hard surface for too long can compress nerves in the hips or legs. This cuts off circulation briefly and disrupts nerve signaling. As soon as you stand or move, blood flow returns and the sensation fades. In these cases, there's usually no cause for concern. But tingling that's frequent, persistent, or unexplained may point to something more significant, especially if it affects your balance, your ability to walk, or is paired with other symptoms like numbness, weakness, or burning. So when should you pay closer attention? Here are a few signs that tingling may be more than just a minor annoyance. The sensation doesn't go away after movement or rest. It happens regularly, even when you haven't been sitting in one place too long. It's paired with muscle weakness, cramping, or difficulty lifting your foot. It begins to interfere with daily activities such as walking or sleeping. You notice numbness spreading from your toes upward or a loss of feeling altogether. These signs could indicate pressure on a nerve from the spine, reduced circulation, or even early changes in how the brain processes signals, especially in older adults. As part of your senior wellness journey, the key is not to ignore these changes. Instead, use them as opportunities to check in with yourself and with your doctor. Many causes of persistent tingling are manageable once identified, and early attention can help prevent complications later on. It's also helpful to pay attention to patterns. When does the tingling happen? After activity, during rest, on both sides or just one leg. Keeping track of this information can be incredibly useful when speaking with a healthcare provider. In many cases, gentle lifestyle changes like improving posture, adjusting sitting habits, or incorporating light stretching can reduce symptoms. And when more support is needed, your doctor may recommend therapy, blood work, or imaging to better understand the root cause. Tingling may be small, but the message behind it is often important. It's your body's way of speaking up quietly but clearly. Through the guidance of senior wellness, you're encouraged to listen, reflect, and take action when needed, always with kindness, courage, and care. Because in the world of senior living, paying attention to the little things can make a big difference in how you move, feel, and thrive. Common causes of pins and needles in the legs after 60. Feeling a tingling sensation in your legs like tiny pins. Light shocks or a crawling feeling under the skin can be uncomfortable and sometimes alarming. While it's often temporary, when it becomes more frequent after 60, it may signal that your nerves or circulation need a little extra care. There are several common reasons why the sensation becomes more noticeable with age, and while not all of them are serious, they are worth understanding so you can respond with clarity and confidence. One of the most common causes is peripheral neuropathy. This condition affects the small nerves in the feet and legs, making them less responsive or overly sensitive. For many older adults, this is often linked to long-standing diabetes, though it can also happen due to vitamin deficiencies, particularly low levels of B1, B6, or B12, which are essential for healthy nerve function. Another possible cause is spinal compression. Over time, the discs in your lower back can wear down, and the space around your spinal nerves may narrow. This can lead to pressure on the nerves that run down to your legs, creating that tingling or numbness, especially when standing, walking, or changing positions. Poor circulation is another factor, particularly in the lower extremities. When blood flow to the legs is reduced, it affects how well oxygen and nutrients reach your nerves. This can cause not just tingling, but also a heavy, tired feeling in the legs. Other potential contributors include sitting in one position for too long, which compresses nerves and restricts blood flow, injury or trauma to the leg or spine, which may affect local nerve pathways. Certain medications, especially those used for treating cancer infections or high blood pressure, which can have side effects that impact nerve health. It's also possible that your body is reacting to inflammation or chronic health conditions that affect the nervous system as a whole. While not always the case, some autoimmune issues or degenerative changes in the brain and spine can produce symptoms in the legs first. From a senior wellness perspective, the most important thing is not to panic, but to pay attention. When tingling shows up regularly or disrupts your daily comfort, it's a sign that your body is trying to tell you something. A simple conversation with your doctor can open the door to answers. They may recommend checking your vitamin levels, adjusting medications, or doing gentle nerve testing to better understand what's happening. In many cases, small lifestyle changes, such as improving posture, stretching regularly, or making dietary adjustments, can help reduce symptoms and improve nerve health. In the journey of senior living, every signal your body sends deserves to be heard and honored with care. And with guidance and insight from Senior Wellness, you can take steady steps toward more comfort, clarity, and confidence in your legs and in your life. When to seek medical advice about tingling in the legs. Tingling in the legs is something many people over 60 experience from time to time. It can feel like a light buzzing, a gentle shock, or a pins and needles sensation that comes and goes. Sometimes it's easy to explain, maybe you've been sitting too long or crossed your legs for a bit too long. But when that feeling becomes more frequent, more intense, or harder to explain, it may be time to check in with your doctor. So how do you know when tingling is just a passing sensation and when it could be pointing to something more? Here are some signs that you may want to seek medical advice. The tingling doesn't go away even after you move or shift positions. It happens daily or multiple times a week without any clear reason. You feel numbness, weakness, or heaviness in the legs alongside the tingling. You notice it interfering with your balance coordination or ability to walk confidently. The sensation spreads from your toes to your ankles or even up toward your thighs. You feel it on only one side of your body, which could signal a nerve issue. These signs don't necessarily mean something serious is happening, but they do deserve attention. After age 60, the nervous system becomes more vulnerable to wear pressure and nutrient deficiencies, and your body may begin showing signs in quiet ways like this. Sometimes tingling can be linked to conditions like diabetes, spinal compression, vitamin B deficiencies, or reduced circulation. But in other cases, it might be a sign of how your nerves and brain are communicating or struggling to do so effectively. One of the most helpful things you can do is track the pattern. When does the tingling happen? Is it worse at night? After walking, does it occur in both legs or just one? Keeping a simple log can help your doctor get a clearer picture and offer the right next steps. Through the lens of senior wellness, paying attention to early symptoms is not about worry. It's about self-respect. It's about giving yourself the opportunity to stay ahead of changes and respond with knowledge, not fear. Medical professionals may use a combination of gentle tests like checking your reflexes, muscle strength, balance, or sensation to evaluate the cause. In some cases, they may recommend a blood test or imaging to rule out more specific nerve conditions. Whatever the outcome, remember, this seeking clarity is a sign of strength. And in the journey of senior living, every question you ask is an act of care for your body, your independence, and your peace of mind. With support from Senior Wellness, you're never alone in listening to what your body is telling you. Whether it's a whisper or a steady signal, your health deserves your attention and your action. How tingling affects sleep, confidence, and daily life. Tingling in the legs might seem like a small thing at first, a strange sensation here and there, a bit of discomfort that fades with time. But for many older adults, when that tingling starts to happen more often, especially at night or during movement, it can quietly start to impact more than just the nerves. It can affect how you sleep, how you walk, and how confident you feel in your day-to-day life. Let's begin with sleep. One of the most common complaints related to tingling is that it often worsens at night. You may lie down to rest only to feel that buzzing or prickling feeling return. It can affect your ability to fall asleep or even wake you up during the night. Over time, this disruption can lead to fatigue, irritability, or difficulty focusing during the day. Lack of restful sleep also makes your body more sensitive to pain, including nerve sensations, creating a cycle that can be hard to break. For many, this leads to tossing and turning, trying to find a position where the legs finally settle. And when sleep suffers, so does energy, which affects everything from mood to memory to motivation. Next is mobility. When tingling becomes more frequent, it can affect how confident you feel walking. You might begin avoiding stairs, long walks, or uneven surfaces. You may feel unsure of your footing even in familiar places. Some people describe it as not trusting their legs, which can lead to hesitation, slower movement, or fear of falling. This fear often leads to reduced activity, and over time that can result in weaker muscles, poor balance, and greater dependence on others. What began as a small nerve signal becomes a barrier to staying active and independent. Emotionally, the effects can be just as real. Living with tingling sensations, especially if they're unexplained or persistent, can create anxiety, frustration, or a sense of vulnerability. It can make you feel disconnected from your own body or unsure how to explain what you're experiencing to others. From the perspective of senior wellness, these emotional and lifestyle impacts matter just as much as the physical symptoms. Because health isn't just about what's happening in your nerves, it's about how that experience shapes the way you live. The good news is you don't have to face it alone. Talking to your doctor, exploring gentle routines that promote circulation and relaxation, and making small changes in your environment can help restore comfort and peace of mind. In the rhythm of senior living, every moment of ease matters. And every step you take toward better sleep, safer movement, and emotional balance is a meaningful one. With thoughtful attention and support from Senior Wellness, you can stay connected to your body and to a life that feels steady, supported, and truly your own. How to track and talk about tingling with your doctor. When tingling becomes a regular part of your daily life, it can feel difficult to explain. You might worry about sounding overly sensitive or feel unsure of what exactly to say. But rest assured, your experience matters. And the more clearly you can describe what you're feeling, the more helpful your doctor can be. One of the best ways to start is by tracking your symptoms. Just like you might jot down your blood pressure or blood sugar, keeping a simple log of tingling episodes can reveal helpful patterns over time. Write down when the tingling occurs, morning, evening, or overnight. What you were doing before it started, walking, sitting, resting. How long it lasts, seconds, minutes, or more. Where you feel it, toes, feet, calves, or one side only. What it feels like, buzzing, pins and needles, numbness, or burning. What makes it better or worse? Movement, Cold warmth, certain positions. You don't need fancy tools, just a notebook or your phone will do. This record helps paint a clearer picture for your doctor and may speed up the path to solutions. When it comes time for your appointment, be honest and specific. You might say, "Lately I've been getting a tingling feeling in both feet. It mostly happens at night when I lie down and sometimes it wakes me up. I've noticed it lasts about 10 minutes and feels like a mild buzzing or crawling sensation." That kind of clarity gives your doctor valuable information and shows that you're being proactive and observant. It's also helpful to mention any other changes you've noticed, like balance issues, muscle weakness, numbness, or fatigue. These details can help determine whether your symptoms are related to circulation, nerve health, spinal alignment, or other factors. Through the approach encouraged by senior wellness communication is a form of care. Speaking up is not a sign of worry, it's a sign of wisdom. You know your body better than anyone else, and your doctor is there to listen and support you. Your provider may recommend a few simple tests such as checking your reflexes, sensitivity, or walking pattern. In some cases, they might request blood work or imaging to look more closely at your spine or nerves. Even if the cause turns out to be something mild or temporary, having answers can bring peace of mind and help you feel more in control of your health. And remember, you don't need to wait until something feels serious. Tingling may be a small signal, but small signals deserve attention too, especially when they affect your comfort and confidence. By tracking your symptoms and speaking clearly, you're doing something powerful. You're advocating for yourself. That's one of the most important habits of healthy aging. With support from senior wellness and a little courage to ask the right questions, you can stay informed, supported, and one step closer to the comfort and clarity you deserve. Sometimes the smallest signals, like a tingling sensation in your legs, carry the biggest messages. They may seem quiet at first, easy to brush off, but over time these sensations can reveal something meaningful about your body, your nerves, and your overall well-being. You don't need to fear them. You just need to listen with care. Ask the right questions and stay open to what your body is trying to share. With awareness, you gain confidence. With understanding, you reclaim control. And with gentle steps supported by curiosity and compassion, you move toward a healthier, more empowered life. At Senior Wellness, we believe in the power of paying attention. Because when you honor your body's signals, you honor your journey and every step along the way. If this video helped you in any way, please consider liking, sharing, and subscribing for more thoughtful support, trusted insights, and uplifting conversations for your path forward.